out of the box. Is your head in a box? What's that song? I'm living in a box. I'm living in a cardboard box. Okay, that's silly, right? Today we're going to learn how to think out of the box, and it's a mindful activity. It's also supported by neuroscience, and it's so fresh and so new that you'll wonder, why has this never been taught? Okay, right. So let's start with a little opening practice. This opening practice comes from Dr. Ellen Langer from Harvard University, and she is considered to be the grandmother of mindfulness. And she's not a famous meditator or anything like that. Even though she's considered to be the grandmother of mindfulness, she suggests a practice like this. Okay, so let's do it together. And it's not a meditation. Okay, good. 2 feet on the ground so that you feel grounded. And let's take in a lovely deep inhalation, breathing in through the nose. And breathe it out the mouth. That's great. Now open your eyes and look around your room. What do you notice? Is there something that catches your eye? Ah, yes, I've noticed something. Find something, and just maybe you've seen it 1,000 times before, but rest your eyes on that thing or that object or that window or painting or whatever it is, and just really look at it. Have you seen it before? Actually, I'm looking at something that I thought, well, I can't believe it's there. It's always been there, but I've never seen it. How strange. I'm looking at its color, its shape, the way the light catches it, its shadows, and also how I feel about that particular object and why I haven't noticed it before. Okay, wonderful. And now moving your eyes across the room to something else. Let your eyes gaze at whatever it is that catches your eye. There you go. You found that other object. Just having a look at that in the same way. Opening your eyes, being aware of what's right in front of you. There it is. Okay. Its shape, its color, the way the light catches it, the shadows, how I feel about it. Yeah. Okay, coming back to what's on your screen. Thank you for noticing this notice. You're noticing it has been noted and will be reported to the authorities. A little bit of a joke. Let's take in a beautiful deep breath, breathing in through the nose. And release. Yeah, so thank you for not meditating with me. Ellen Langer suggests that one way of stimulating innovation and creativity and out-of-the-box thinking is to get out of the box, out of our head. We're stuck in our heads. We're stuck in our thoughts, in our imaginations, our fantasies, our catastrophes, our projections. And often we miss what's right in front of us, what's right here. So by bringing yourself into the room or into a walk, maybe you've gone for a walk or a run and you look around, there's a tree, there's a house, there's my neighbor's car. You start to notice things, and perhaps you haven't even noticed that that tree was there in the first place. And you go, oh my goodness, I'm missing so much in my reality. How much are we missing that's right in front of us that we don't see because we're on autopilot? And if we're in autopilot, we're circulating within our same ideas, plans, and tired solutions that we don't get out of. So we're talking about getting out of the box. Albert Einstein, one of my favorite philosophers, philosophers actually. Now you could say, philosopher, really? Well, absolutely. Einstein was incredibly deep and very philosophical, but also extremely smart. They say he's the smartest man that ever lived. It's interesting. And Einstein says that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Okay? Interesting. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created those problems, because maybe we created those problems when we were stressed, when we were tired, when we were on autopilot, worrying about the future and thinking about the past. Yeah. So we have to shift our awareness, and that is what Albert Einstein is encouraging us to do, is shift our awareness in order to solve riddles, problems, issues, creative challenges. They don't necessarily have to be negative, right? Yeah. And don't you just love this picture of Albert Einstein and sticking his tongue out? It just breaks the paradigm of what a scientist is supposed to look like. Yeah. So thinking out of the box has always been a passion for me. Thinking out of the box always been a great passion of mine, because I've been involved in the advertising industry now for, oh my gosh, 28 years. Okay. I left the industry about 4 years ago to join Mindful Revolution, which was the best thing I ever did, because it's a hard industry. And when you're in advertising and when you're a creative, you are pressurized into coming up with great ideas all the time. Copywriting, design, all of these things requires out-of-the-box thinking. And for many years, it's always been a passion of mine to figure out and to help people think out of the box, including myself. And I actually stumbled quite randomly on the solution. And then diving into the neuroscience to back it up was extremely satisfying, as you can imagine. It's wonderful to have your intuition backed up by research and hard evidence. And I also ran my own agency. I was the managing director of that one agency for about 5 years before I left Mindful Revolution. So having that formula and knowing how to get the best out of my brain and out of those who worked for me was extremely satisfying as well. So I'll let you in on the secret. The big idea, okay? How do we generate the big idea? The big idea. So I worked for one agency before. It was actually before I bought my own business. And I only lasted 3 months in this advertising agency because the woman said I was useless. My boss said I was useless. It was pretty tough at the time because my wife was unemployed. We had I think it was a 3-year-old son. And if I don't have a job, we had no money to pay rent, to pay our food, to pay the bills. And I got retrenched after 3 months, which is kind of difficult after working for a previous employer for 7 years. So she said I was incompetent, but we had meetings, and in those meetings, she would chair the meeting and she would say, right, we have to come up with the big idea for Nissan car billboard. What's your idea? And she would she wouldn't shine a light in your face, but she would make you feel like you were being interrogated. You know those movies where they torture you? They always got a light in your face like this. And I felt like I was under the spotlight. I felt like I was experiencing a lot of stress and pressure because of the way that she was asking me to come up with good ideas. And my colleagues, I could see, were sweating, wiping their foreheads and pulling at their collars. And I realized, no, man, this is not the way. This is not the way for us to come up with a good idea. And you know what? I was actually really pleased when she never actually retrenched me. I walked out before she had the opportunity to do that. And then I went and bought my own business, which did very well. I also worked in a photographic studio where a photographer was taking pictures of cars for Nissan, and that's the link. And it's very difficult to take a photograph of a car, as you can imagine. And the photographer has assistants that work for the photographer, whether it's a female or a male photographer. These assistants move the lights around the car, many, many, many lights to capture one image. And it's very complicated. And the assistants that I was working with, they knew what to do. They'd been doing this for 12, 13 years. They knew which lights to move where. But the photographer could not keep a level head, was quite hot-headed, actually. And during the day, as the day progressed, the photographer would become irritable and annoyed and start venting their frustration on the assistants. And as he began shouting and swearing and calling them names, I could see them like this, like a deer in the headlights. And they just froze. They just stopped. They could not access their memory. So what happens in neuroscience is the understanding of the brain is that when we are under stress, the amygdala, which is our at the back of our head, it's like an almond-shaped part of our brain. There's two of them at the back of our head. If you go through the eyes and the ears, that's where it intersects. It shuts down the brain because we go into fight, flight, or freeze. It shuts the prefrontal cortex down, which is partly responsible for making good decisions, for being creative. It also shuts down the hippocampus, which is where our memories are stored. So we don't remember how to do it anymore. We become completely dumbed down and we're in a survival mode, which is more about the fight or the run. So this is a very ancient system that's hardwired in us humans. And this is what was happening to the poor assistants on those days of car photography. And the photographer would come to me and say, I just don't understand it. The mornings go well, but by lunchtime, everybody is stupid. How does this work? And intuitively, I had a feeling of how it works. And I tried to encourage a more natural and peaceful environment. So, friends, thank you for joining us today. I see there's quite a few of you logged on, and welcome to the session. It's really good to be here with you. And I would love us to check in, just a little check in. I'd love to hear from you today. The question I'm going to ask is where are you where you have your best ideas? Where are you? Okay? Where are you? I'm just going to wait a minute until you pop it in the Q&A there on the live session. Where are you? Where you have your best ideas? Are you sitting in a brainstorming meeting on Teams with your colleagues or in a boardroom? Are you tapping away at your laptop or your computer? Are you doing an all-nighter trying to, come up with that big idea? Let's have a look at what people are saying. Okay, here they come. Right. I'm going for a run. Okay. Yeah. Another one says, I am in the bath. There's another one saying in the bath, in the shower. Yes. Some are saying, when I wake up at night at 1 in.the.morning. Okay. I see your sleep is a bit disrupted, but still thinking or in a state of rest. Going for a walk. Yeah. playing with my cat, also great. So no one's saying anything about being in a boardroom or tapping away at your computer. You all saying that you have great ideas. Oh wait, here's one, when I have a cigarette outside. Okay, well, it's not the cigarette, okay? It's because you stepped away from the issue. You moved away from the intensity of coming up with the idea or trying to solve the problem. You relaxed on it. You gave up striving to solve it. You stepped away. And then the idea happened. Interesting. Very interesting. So here is some insight into how the brain works. Okay? This is a lovely picture. Lovely ladies lying on their backs, looking up at the clouds on the grass. And this was the thing that I would encourage in my agency is let's not sit in the boardroom. Let's go for a walk and have a meeting. Why don't we go to the park and look at the clouds and relax? Why don't we take our costumes and go for a swim, bring your slops and something to eat. Oh yes, and we must think of the big idea. Then think of the big idea, but it wasn't the big idea first. It was to have fun first or to relax first and then bring to mind that issue, which was, what are we going to say on a billboard for Nissan or for whatever client we were working with at the time? And I can tell you, friends, the out-of-the-box thinking that happened was phenomenal. Phenomenal. We started getting amazing ideas. And I thought to myself, that poor woman in that little agency could not stimulate good ideas because she was aggressive and intimidating and bullying. Remember the last session we did around that? By being a bully, by being hardcore, not going to help in stimulation of productivity and innovation. What will help is to create that safe space where people feel happy, at peace, they feel cared for, they feel nurtured. There we go. Good ideas start to happen when you stepped away from the issue as well. And that's coming from you, okay? And then what to do when you have that great idea, you then have to be able to stay with that idea, to be able to unpack that idea. You can imagine Albert Einstein, going back to him, writing long theories on a blackboard, and imagine he had WhatsApp or Facebook, you get a message, Albert, join us for a drink after work. And he goes, oh, cool, thank you. Puts his phone down and goes, now where was I? Okay, poor old Albert, if he had a phone, a mobile phone, he may have never been able to work out those incredible theories, E equals MC squared, the theory of relativity, you know, groundbreaking, made him famous. But if he had distraction, if he wasn't able to unpack the big idea, then he wouldn't have been so famous. Are you able to then unpack the big idea by staying mindful, by staying focused, by staying smart? Albert Einstein said, I'm not that clever. I just have the ability to focus my mind more than most people do. That's all. Just to stay with it, unpack it, explore it. That out of the box, incredible innovation. It starts with a little idea, and then we grow that idea through our focused awareness. And this is the kicker. According to neuroscience, there are different brainwave states. If you've ever been for an EEG, I have, you know, where they put that little hat on your head and it's got all these little wires and suckers and it's linked up to a machine and the machine's got a printer. You might have seen it on the movies, but I went a couple of years ago. And interestingly enough, they look at your brain waves. And when you are feeling a little bit busy, overwhelmed, a little bit anxious, you've got deadlines, you're in that brainstorming session, your brain is generally in the beta brainwave state, okay? Here is the beta. You can see there 16 to 30 hertz, and it's quite jagged. It's quite jagged, okay? Beta is responsible for alertness, concentration, and cognition, all right? Which is fine. It's not a problem to be in beta. But often when we are stressed, we are also in the beta phase. Then, if you step away, if you go and lie on your back and look at the clouds, if you go and meditate or do some stretching or some breathing exercises or play with the cat or the dog or not watch TV, but just kind of like relax yourself, you move your brain waves into the alpha brainwave state. You can see they're 8 to 15 hertz. Here, you are relaxed. You perhaps visualization, creativity. This is where great ideas bubble up from the surface of your mind. And it's important then, with this knowledge, to get ourselves into alpha. So if you have back-to-back meetings, if you are working late at night with your laptop in your bed, you may not know that this is harming your creativity. You may not know that this is harming your ability to prioritize, to know what's important in your day, what problems are important and what problems should be focused on first and solved first. That could seriously affect your job and your life and your career. It is imperative then to step away. Step away as much as you can, especially if your job requires you to come up with flexible thinking and strategic thinking and just, creativity. Even if it's making lunch for your child, to be creative, it's a creative process. What am I going to make for lunch? We all are experiencing a level of creativity every single day. I mean, just looking at some of these, Leonardo da Vinci, every now and then go away, have a little relaxation, for when you come back to your work, your judgment will be surer, since to remain constantly at work will cause you to lose power of judgment. Go some distance away because the work appears smaller and more of it can be taken in at a glance, and a lack of harmony or proportion is more readily seen. Leonardo da Vinci, okay? Amazing, amazing. Just even look at JayZ. Artists can have greater access to reality. They can see patterns and details and connections that other people distracted by the blur of life might miss. Just sharing that truth can be a very powerful thing. Wow, 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 wow. Let's make a space. Here's Viktor Frankl, between stimulus and response, there's a space, and in that space lies our freedom to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our happiness. Let's make a space. Let's do a problem-solving exercise. And obviously, I'm going to give you a taste, but you can take this forward. Right, we've stopped work. Put your emails away. Put your phone away. Right, put your feet on the ground. Let's breathe in again, breathing in. And then slowly exhale it out. Focus your awareness now on your breathing, if you can, at your nostrils. If you can't, that's fine. Breathing nice and calm and smooth. Our awareness is just on our breath, okay? Just on the breath. Relax, relax, relax. And now bring to mind an issue or a creative obstacle that you're trying to solve in your life. It might be in a relationship. It might be a formula. Anything that you're feeling a bit blocked in trying to figure it out. Bring it to mind. And now, don't try and solve it. Yes, do not try and solve it. Put it in the back of your mind, on the back burner, and come back to your breath. So the problem's there, we're aware of it. The issue's there, we're aware of it, but we're not going to try and solve it. Relax on your breath. Okay, brilliant. So push pause on that. Let's take in a deep breath, breathing in through the nose. And breathe it out. So I'm not expecting you to have a groundbreaking solution in that space of time, but I'm giving you a taste of what to do, okay? Whether you're going for a walk, whether you're doing breathing or stretching exercises or whatever, bring to mind the issue, but let go of trying to solve it. Let go of the intensity of being that lady, you know, of interrogating yourself, of pushing yourself too hard, and then create a space for that out-of-the-box thinking. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at how well it will go for you. I meditate almost every day. And the thing with my practice is that I'm overwhelmed with really good ideas. Sometimes I have to write them down and then let them go. Yeah. So that is all we have for you today. Our home practice is to make time, make some space, go for a walk, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Do a little bit of gardening and then bring up that issue or that problem and see if it's solvable without trying too hard. Okay? That's the home practice. Thank you so much, friends, for joining. Yeah, have yourselves a great day. It's a wonderful day, and we'll definitely see you at the next session. Until then, wishing you happiness, wishing you health, wishing you safety, and wishing you peace. Until then, bye.